winter of 1957 arrived without mercy. The trees stood bare, their branches like skeletal fingers clawing at a gray sky, and the wind cut through the outskirts of the city as if it carried a warning. On a quiet road near the woods, where no one lingered and no one listened, a cardboard box lay abandoned. It was an ordinary box, the kind meant for appliances, meant to be thrown away once its purpose was served. But inside it was something that would refuse to be discarded by time. A child. When the police arrived, silence fell heavier than the cold. The lid was lifted slowly, carefully, as if whatever lay inside might still feel pain. The boy was small, too small for the world to have already been so cruel to him. His body bore marks no child should carry. His skin was pale, his limbs stiff from the cold, and his eyes were half open, frozen in a question that would never be answered. There was no missing child report that matched him, no name stitched into his clothes, no one searching the woods, crying his name into the dark. He was just a boy in a box, left behind like something broken beyond repair. The newspapers worked quickly. Headlines were printed, photographs published, speculation poured like ink. Child found dead in box. Mysterious killing shock city. People whispered in diners and on street corners. Some were horrified. Some were curious. Some turned the page and forgot. But not everyone forgot. Inspector Thomas Hale stood over the box longer than anyone else. He had seen death before, too much of it. But something about this was different. Perhaps it was a boy's size. Or perhaps it was the way his face looked peaceful, as though sleep had been stolen and replaced with something permanent. Hale had a son at home, 7 years old. Every morning, the boy tied his shoes too slowly and smiled too easily. That night, Hale sat beside his sleeping child and wondered how the world could fail someone so small. He promised himself that the boy in the box would not remain a mystery. The investigation stretched across weeks, then months. Hospitals were contacted. Orphanages were questioned. Schools were checked. Files were pulled from dusty cabinets. Names read aloud, then crossed off. Nothing. No mother came forward. No father claimed him. No relative recognized his face. It was as though the boy had never existed, until the moment he died. Hale followed every lead, even the weakest ones. He walked poor neighborhoods and wealthy streets alike. He questioned neighbors who shrugged and social workers who sighed. Each conversation ended the same way: sympathy, uncertainty, silence. The city moved on. Spring came. Snow melted. People stopped talking about the case. New tragedies replaced old ones. The boy became a footnote, an unsolved file marked unknown. But Hale kept the photographs in his drawer. Late at night, when the city slept, he would take them out. He studied the boy's face, memorizing it as if doing so might summon a name from the darkness. Someone had held this child once, he thought. Someone had fed him. Someone had heard him laugh or cry. Children do not simply appear. They are born into hands, into voices, into moments of care, at least at first. So where had all of that gone? Across the city, a nurse named Eleanor watched the same photograph in the newspaper and felt her breath catch. She had worked in pediatric wards for years. Sick children, injured children, forgotten children. There was something familiar about the boy's eyes. She tried to dismiss the feeling, but it followed her home, sat with her through dinner, kept her awake at night. Had she seen him before? Had he passed through her care unnoticed? Just another patient among too many? Eleanor contacted the police, offering what little she had. No records, no certainty, just a memory that refused to settle. Hale listened carefully. He wanted to believe it meant something. But memories without proof could not solve a case. Years passed. Inspector Hale aged. His hair turned gray, his steps slowed, and his desk grew cluttered with newer files. The boy in the box remained unsolved, quietly haunting the edges of his career. Eventually, Hale retired. On his last day, he visited the woods one final time. The road was paved now. Houses stood where trees once had. Life had continued, indifferent and unstoppable. He stood where the box had been found and removed his hat. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "You deserve better." The boy was buried under a simple marker. No name, Just a date and a description that felt painfully incomplete. Unknown child. That was the greatest cruelty of all. Not just that he died,